Welcome back to Fireside Giants. Today, I want to talk a little bit about Jadeveon Clowney, with recent reports indicating that he will be one of the top targets for the Indianapolis Colts and New York Football Giants, according to ESPN's Josina Anderson. This is something for us to think about. Clowney is a very talented pass rusher, despite never having breached double-digit sacks in his 6-year career. Marcus Golden just recorded 10 sacks in 2019, coming off a few injuries. And now we're in the position where the Giants have about $75 million in cap space. I'm thinking it's going to jump up to $85 million after a few more cuts. And Clowney's one of the options that they are considering. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks and John Schneider both really like Clowney and what he has to offer. They have indicated that they want to bring him back, and Clowney also stated that he is definitely open to returning, but he is willing to, look at the opportunities that will present themselves this free agency period. However, the Giants need to be in on Clowney, especially if he's willing to depart from Seattle. Schneider did say that he had core muscle surgery last season, and that's why his season got a little bit cut short. But the Giants shouldn't be worried about that, because he also stated that the core surgery went well and it shouldn't affect him moving forward into 2020. Now, for the Giants, they have to look at the comparison between Clowney, Yannick Ngakoue, and Marcus Golden. There's a bunch of guys that will probably be franchise tagged, and Clowney is one of them. But if he isn't, because Seattle is trying to cut cap space, the Giants can allocate a lot of this money towards the defensive line and Clowney. So here's a little bit of the numbers that I'm looking at right now to indicate whether or not it's worth to sign Clowney. One of them, obviously, is that he's never recorded above 9.5 sacks, which is a little bit concerning, considering he's considered a premier pass rusher in the NFL, and the Giants have a decision to make and a lot of money to spend, so it really comes down to the value that will be presented from him. So looking right now, last season, he recorded 31 combined tackles with 7 tackles for a loss. So that's nothing really that crazy. In 2017, he was a Pro Bowler, had 59 combined tackles and 21 tackles for a loss. He also had 13 quarterback hits, which was his lowest since 2015. Now, the big thing here is his forced fumbles. He had 4 forced fumbles and 3 passes defended last season, and that's pretty impressive. You want a guy that can stop the run. He can do that. He's really long, lanky, at 6'5", 255 pounds. He is a former first-round pick. Someone call him a dud. Some call him doo-doo, which is actually his nickname. But the Giants have this decision to make on whether they want to invest in him, and he can play defensive end and outside linebacker, which is really big, considering they might be losing Marcus Golden. He also has a 11.4% missed tackle rate in 2019. So compared to Marcus Golden, who landed at 7.7 missed tackles, he also had 72 combined tackles with 13 tackles for a loss and 27 quarterback hits, along with his 10 sacks. He's had 2 seasons with double-digit sacks, 2016 and 2019. At 28 years old, he is coming off his first season starting all 16 games. So I'm really impressed from what I saw last year. I think the Giants would be smart to consider tagging him, actually, and giving Leonard Williams a smaller contract, around the $13 million range. That would allow them to also go after Clowney or draft somebody. I am not entirely sold on Clowney. I think Yannick Ngakoue is a better option. Matthew Judon. Obviously, I think these guys will be tagged by the Jaguars and the Ravens, respectively. But Clowney is one of those guys that he might be left on the board, and the Giants have to make a decision here. Is he worth investing in, considering he's only 27 years old? He just turned 27 about 13 days ago. So, he's relatively young, and he's really coming off an okay season. His injury concern is also something to be noticed to notice in this entire argument. He's missed 9 games over the last 5 seasons. So it's not that much, but it's not that, confidence brewing either. For a guy like Clowney, an edge rusher, he has to be healthy for him to earn that kind of money. The Giants need to be careful with how they spend it. They don't want to overpay for a guy that is going to miss games. Core injuries are generally not something you want to see from a player going into a contract year. So, with that being said, it's really up to you whether or not you think that Clowney is worth the money. I personally don't think they should invest in him. I think he's too much of a risk, and he's never posted over 9.5 sacks. I don't like that at all. And 13 quarterbacks hits last year for Seattle isn't something to note at all. Like, he had an average season, although he's had, I think, 1 or 3. He's actually a 3-time Pro Bowler, so there's something else to know. He's really good against the run, and the Giants need to upgrade that portion of their game. I mean, that's why they are considering Leonard Williams. They might just decide, screw Williams, let's just go all in on Clowney and bring a guy in that can rush the passer but also stop the run well. So there's something else to consider in this argument and debate. I'd love to hear from you guys below. Please leave comments, and I will be sure to answer and talk with you guys, because I want to know what you guys think and who you guys are looking for in the upcoming free agency period. And if you think we should resign Marcus Golden, because I think he's a pretty good guy. He's a really good guy to have in the locker room and the atmosphere, and he's good on the field. He has a high motor. He's a cleanup guy. He's really good making sure those quarterbacks go down when the coverage is tight. So all things to consider. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in.